Hello, I am J.A. McDonald, and this is a new episode of Tour de Minecraft. This episode is called Bigger on the Inside. The reason for the name will become apparent to you in a moment here. This episode may be a little long and could be split into two parts. Unlike the other two worlds, episodes, Legacy and Beginning to Modernize, this entire world was mainly built in survival. Wrong way around. Those two worlds were built in survival. This one was built mainly using creative. Let me just kind of get through here. There's a bit of lag. I have this mega bridge. None of this was built using fill commands because I didn't have them at the time of building. The second part of this episode shows what I did once I had fill commands. I also didn't have any of the new woods or horses or rabbits or any of that stuff. So it's a bit old, but I'm keeping it that way for a reason. This road goes all the way up to that mountain where it slices through a little tunnel in the mountain. I thought that was a nice feature. And then up on top is a little cottage. Just let me get up there and you'll see. Here's almost, and there's a little cottage. Then the road continues down this way, where it uses a few jungle trees as support pillars. I thought that was a cool thing. I thought they would grow taller, but they didn't. Probably should have used two jungle trees stacked on top of each other. Then this road just kind of continues over here where it stops. It's not as long as the other version, but it does its job. And just let me get flying. And just kind of sweeps back up over here to the top of the tower, where there's some supports and jungle trees. And as I mentioned earlier, a small little cottage. Now for me flying around this mountain, you can get a pretty good idea about its size if it would load. There it goes. We have a beacon somewhere up here, which doesn't seem to want to be on right now. It's right here. Nothing's blocking its view except these bars, so it should be on, but sometimes it just gets it in its head that it doesn't need to. I could be a little bit far from it right now. I'm up fairly high. Then, to get to my house, you just go in this door, and whoa, you descend a few flights of stairs, and you are in my house. It is huge, by the way. That's why it's called Bigger on the Inside. Because due to some nice stuff, it's bigger inside than it is on the outside. And yes, that is a Doctor Who reference. No, I didn't know about it at the time. Basically, first stop is this garden. It contains every crop. At that time, I don't think any new crops have been added, but they might have. And it contains everything in here in a nice little harvestable water stream that all flows to the center. And those water streams flow over to a hopper elevator into my chest room. Then I have a mushroom farm here, which failed. And so I lit it up to keep mobs out of it. But I just thought the mushrooms would spread in dark rooms, and they didn't at that time or something. I think they do now, but I don't know. Then over here I have a cocoa farm with a floor that I can turn on or off. And there it's off. And when I turn it on, you can see it lights up. Then there's this chest room, which is one of my bigger chest rooms. I have surpassed it in some of my newer worlds. It was never really designed to be functional because this is a creative world. and this chest gets all the food from the garden. Then I have this really awesome furnace room over here. There's a lot of furnaces here. And even a little spot in the center where you can go to get furnaces. Yeah, it's a large furnace room. Then over here, hang on, let me get down this ladder. I'll show you that later. I have an enchanting room. There's 2 different enchanting cells, and you have to bring your own table. I was a little bit controlling of enchanting, and it doesn't really matter, but you have to bring your own table to enchant in any of these rooms. And then the next thing is the tree farm, which is the second biggest room I've ever hollowed out by hand. It is 30 by 30 by 10. And it got very lucky because it cut into... Hang on a second, let me get some brick. Cut into this ravine here, so I didn't have to dig out all of it, and I just filled the ravine up with these glowstones to make it look nice. I've always wondered what it'd be like to try to play survival in this ravine, because there are, like, trees and such. So let me check something real quick here. Okay. You might notice a few... I'm going to stop the recording at some point here to kind of shorten on the length of segments I have to edit. And over here, I have my livestock pen. This turned out to be one large disaster. Just let me get rid of all this lag, or, well, deal with it. So basically, the chickens got out of their pens, the wolves got out of their pens, the ocelots got out of their pens, and the dogs got out of their pens. And the wolves' first thought was, let's go kill the sheep, so I had to go kill the wolves. And here's the sheep pen. And then there's a mushroom pen, and a pig pen, and a completely failed squid pen, which the squid, for some reason, can't stand. Maybe they think the water's flowing. And a cow pen. And there are no horses or rabbits because they didn't exist then. And we always have one cow and one mushroom separated out for milking. And it was really just a disaster. I should probably redo it sometime, but it was a lot of work to get all this, so yeah. Each one of these rooms has a little one high thing for your pets to go through. A nice little convenience feature to the guests. And then here we have the village. It's an underground village. It is a little too far from the surface. It doesn't actually, qualify as a village because none of the doors ever see sky or whatever. But it's just nice 2 levels of village here with garden and butcher and blacksmith. Whoa, and a well that I just fell down. And there's stairs in the corners to get up to the second row. Here's the church. Yeah, it's just a really great place. And even has its own library. The library is a little bit cramped because it had to fit in a tight spot. Here's the library. Basically, you can just walk up this stair of bookshelves and access books. Yeah, it's a nice library. Then out this way is an iron door keeping the villagers from leaving and infesting my house. Right across from that prison-like village is the temporary detention center, the actual prison. Basically, if you want to visit a prisoner, you put your stuff in this chest, and the warden, who sits behind that, sits behind that glass panel over there, we can walk down here and flip this lever, flip it, let's see here, there, which keeps your stuff safe because you can't open a chest with blocks over it. Then when you're ready to leave, you can just open it again, And you can't go in and flip that lever because he has this door here, which is a locked closed door. Just, whoa, broke too many blocks. Just let me fix it because it's not working right now. Not TNT. Iron door. There. There, it's a locked closed door, so it locks you in the hallway when the warden's in here. Then these levers here control each door to this little cell. Hang on, I'll flip it once. There. So he can lock you in and prevent you from progressing, and he can kind of use this as an airlock to kind of open one side and let you in, and close it, and then let you into the prison. And he can protect himself from the prison inmates using that door. And he has a bed and a chest, and over here is all the commands he uses. He has to have command access. And he basically, when you get a new prisoner, opens a chest. The prisoner stuffs their gear in the chest. He says game mode A, player, clear, player, and then they're ready for prison. And he can lock their chest and it's safe. The guards, after getting in, will force the prisoner into this room and seal him in until he has deposited his items. And if he refuses to, we can just clear his inventory and he'll lose it all. Once that is done, the warden will make sure that door there is closed, and the guards will move the prisoner to one of these cells. Each cell has a bed in it that prevents the server from not being able to sleep just because of prisoners. All these doors are security doors, so the presence... hang on, this thing seems to be powered somehow. I'll show you on a different door. So the presence of redstone power locks it instead of opening it. And to make a door like that, all you have to do is destroy the floor. No, all you have to do is place it on the side of a wall like that. And then it will be a security door. The only way out is through the warden's office, which you can lock, or through the airlock that the warden controls. I thought about putting iron bars in these windows, but prisoners won't be able to break glass anyway, and the iron bars just make it difficult to look at people. Then once you exit here, the next stop on our list is the kitchen. It has pet access too, unlike the jail. The jail doesn't have pet access. But the kitchen has pet access, despite pet fur probably contaminating all this food. And it has these little crafting stations where you can have a counter and an oven and a crafting table and a water supply. Then there's a cupboard for finished products. Or a counter, actually. The next thing here is a pool. Or no. How did I get pool? A brewing room. It has this nice little water trough. This is like design 1.2 or something. It's the chests aided brewing in the middle, but it's not modern enough to have the enhanced brewing stands. I'll show you those in a later episode. And it has a ring of soul sand surrounded by water. So just a normal-ish brewing area. Then we have the library. It's a nice 2-story library, lots of books, lots of niches to hide in. Like this center area here is nice. Then to get to the second floor, you tap this button and go up the stairs that pop out of the wall. And they'll retract and the floor will seal over them after a good leaving. I didn't want anyone to get stuck on the stairs. And you have another flight of stairs that you can walk around, and you can jump down on people if you want. Which is why there's no railing. Then, to get to the enchanting room, you have to come over here and hit this secret button. And then go over here to this wall, which will retract after a time and let you into the enchanting bay. and then close after you. I figured no one would accidentally discover that. Here's the Mega Enchanting Room. It's really deep and has this book or enchanting table in the middle. And it's really cool, but can only enchant at level 1. Well, level 2 it looks like, but not many of these bookshelves are in range of that table. If you fall off this bridge, you just hit this button here, and that part of the wall pops open. You can drop in and take this ladder up. Yeah, this ladder up, and it goes up to this spot, one above here, where you can get out by standing on this bookshelf and pressing that button, and it'll drop you into this hallway. Then the functional enchanting room is over here, and this one can go all the way up to level 30. And if you fall down in this one, pick up the sword. If you fall down in this one, you have to hit this button, and a command block will teleport you out. Then to get out of the enchanting room, you just have to hit this button here on the wall. And wait for the door to open, and run out.